Now it gives us a chance to check in one more time with Dimitri Gorin, who's been kind enough to spend some time with us here. Dimitri, let me ask you something before I ask you about Melissa Grosvenor and her sister. And that is what we've just been watching here, right? Testimony by Detective Richard Tomlin, who, whatever you may feel about whether Phil Spector is guilty or not guilty, I think you have to conclude that he was a very professional witness on that stand. I know if I was back in my prosecutor days, I would love to have all my witnesses be like he was. But it was sort of an interesting scenario in the courtroom because you have this witness being called by the defense as a defense witness, even though there was not certainly hostility there. As I said, I think Detective Tomlin was very professional. It's still a little bit awkward. Talk about how the rules change in terms of questioning and cross-examining when the defense calls a police officer to the stand.
Well, if a witness is deemed hostile by the court, or one of the lawyers asks for that basically name, the witness is now hostile, different rules apply. In other words, if you're calling a witness that's now been deemed a hostile witness, you can ask questions like you would do in a cross-examination, leading questions. I don't know if this detective was actually deemed hostile, but if you review Mr. Rosen's questions, a lot of them were very leading questions, very suggestive as to what he wanted the answer to be or where he was going with the question, where really the only answer was a yes or a no. That's an example of a leading question that you would typically ask in cross-examination. But here, when you have a hostile witness, you can use that type of questioning technique on direct examination. I think there's some leeway given when, even if a witness is not declared hostile, but you know that the witness's biases may lie with the prosecution or the other side, the judge may give you more flexibility in the manner you ask questions. So Mr. Rosen had a lot of flexibility in the way he asked the questions of the officer, where really the officer's only option was to say either yes or no.
Yeah, you're absolutely.
And it is not atypical.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And in this instance, it was not a formal declaration of hostile witness. But as you said, I think Judge Fiddler, recognizing the relationship, gave Mr. Rosen a great deal of latitude there. And for our viewers, the difference is, direct examination, usual non-leading question is, could you tell us what happened next?